Hey, what is going on, my fellow godlies and Warframe enthusiasts around the world? I am Vance from Warframe God Builds, and today I'm going to be kicking off a totally new series called Warframe God Builds ReForged. Now, the reason for this being is because I've just got way too many builds that need to be updated, and thus, instead of uploading update video after update video after update video, I'm just gonna go ahead and start this new series that has infinite episode potential. You know, we all know that the God Build series is limited because there's only a set amount of Warframes, but with this series I will be able to update my builds as time goes on and as need be. Now, I'm going to be covering Frost for the first one, but I need to confirm early on that this isn't so much an update video as it is a confirmation for the duration build we did so long ago. I already covered this in a live stream which we named God Builds ReForged Frost, but the issue was that it was really long and the first half of it was spent just shaming the shit out of people who hate on the duration build. We stripped them away from their credibility, and I'm gonna leave the link to that SoundCloud podcast in the description in the video, and then I'm gonna go ahead and leave the link to the rest of that live stream as well, also in this video. And for the remainder of this video, I am going to be showing you why the anti-armor power build is inefficient in comparison to the duration build. Alright, so if you take a minute to look over this build, this is pretty much the typical setup for any Frost player that's opting for a strong globe. This is what they're going to use so that the globe can last a little bit longer, but there's a huge drawback to this build. It's the fact that it's just very inefficient. It takes so much energy to use. Not only that, but if you're competing with the duration Frost, in those higher waves of defense or survival, you're going to find that your globe doesn't last a whole lot longer than the duration builds. And it's gone. But the biggest problem lies within the frozen time. Enemies only stay frozen for about a single second. That doesn't give you a whole lot of wiggle room, and if you don't have a lot of wiggle room in this game, we all know the outcome. Now, so on top of that not giving you a whole lot of wiggle room, as I would call it, and it costing an arm and a leg to use an energy, it's just not a whole lot defensive, and that's the theme of Frost, is he's defensive. So going on into level 100 combat, you're just not going to have a big edge over duration builds. Now, this is the slightly updated duration build that we did for God Builds all those months ago. There's really nothing here that changed a whole hell of a lot, and it's still going to wipe the floor with these enemies. Okay, so first to test the duration of the globe. Lasting about the same amount of time as the power build so far. Oh, and it's not the end of the world, people. We can recast it. Everybody seems to think that if you've got a globe that's not that strong, that it's the end of the world. If the globe goes down, big deal, recast it, and you can push back all your enemies and freeze them. But the biggest reason for you wanting to build for duration is because the amount of time that you have to just do whatever you want while the enemies are frozen. Look at all this wiggle room. Those enemies were frozen solid and couldn't do shit. And it doesn't cost any more than like 20 energy for all of this to transpire. I'm not having to struggle. I'm effectively keeping them still for my team. And there's really nothing better than that. Except for, you know, floating enemies. That's always new and unique. Okay then. But I think that this demonstrates my point, and although it's not really an update video, and I could hardly qualify it as a ReForged, I would say that it's still necessary because the world needs to know how to play Frost and how to play him effectively. So if you liked this video and you found it to be informative, it always helps if you give us that thumbs up. also consider subscribing if you're not subscribed already. And as always, the details for our Facebook fan page is going to be in the description, along with the links to the SoundCloud and the other video and all that shenanigans. Feel free to check out our online store to get your God Builds merchandise in the description as well. So until next time, I'm Vance, signing off. Peace.